Right now on News 3 this morning, Saturday, it's a hot and steamy one already outside, and the sun is just beginning to rise. Chris is tracking your alert day forecast. Plus, the extreme heat is wreaking havoc on area roads. Why police caution drivers to watch out for pavement buckling. And no drinking and driving on land or the water. The statewide crackdown happening ahead of the 4th of July holiday. Your news starts right now.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for News 3 This Morning, Saturday, 5 a.m. on this June 30th. I'm Josh Breiter alongside meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, I think a good way just to describe this weather is just gross.
It is gross. Mother Nature back at it again with the heat and the humidity. Of course, that means our excessive heat warnings are still in play for your Saturday. Play, danger, whatever you want to call it. It's hot outside. We're going to keep those excessive heat warnings in effect until 7 p.m. tonight, and then eventually we will have a cold front working its way in from the north. Cold front is the term to be used loosely, but it will cool things down, and we'll see a lot of these excessive heat warnings begin to expire in time. Still kind of a foggy look outside, but that's just adding to the element of steaminess. Temperatures just dropped from 80 to 79, and we're going to watch things take off already into the afternoon. Dew points are in the mid and upper 70s around town, so as you step outside, go ahead and take some floaties because you're going to be stepping into a pool. It's just going to be hot already. All across the region, temperatures are in the upper 70s, 80 over in Kenosha and Milwaukee. We'll watch our temperatures warm back up through the 80s as we go through the afternoon and evening. Minneapolis is at 83. At 5 o'clock in the morning. Just think about that for a second. That just doesn't seem right because it's not right. Mother Nature just doing us a non-favor here, but it'll be 93 into the afternoon. It could be a little bit warmer. Some folks might hit the 95-degree mark. You factor in the humidity, it'll feel well over 100 degrees again today, just like we saw yesterday. And then eventually we'll see things that begin to cool down. Traffic-wise, no issues that we've been tracking this morning so far. Everything really moving along smoothly. That's on the Beltline and downtown. Josh.
Yikes, that's hot.
I know, it is so hot, but we will get through it.
We will get through it.
Yes, no
All
problem.
Right. Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
If you have outdoor plans this weekend, be sure to keep in mind surfaces will be hot. News 3 tested surfaces at a local park during the peak of Friday's heat, and they came out to nearly 120 degrees. UW Health doctors tell us there isn't an exact temperature that will lead to burns, but they have seen kids burned on metal slides and blacktop. Health officials are encouraging everyone to limit time spent outside, but those who are venturing out, like Tina Young and her daughter, know how important it is to stay cool.
It's very important. I mean, she can get heat strokes super easy, so can I. Just need to keep her cool and make sure she's having fun.
Health officials recommend drinking about 2 to 4 cups of water for every hour spent working or moving around outside. With the excessive heat warning in effect, Dane County officials have sent out a full list of places you can keep cool this weekend. To find that list, you can head to our website, channel3000.com. Summerfest in Milwaukee is also changing up its carrying rules because of the extreme heat. Happening today, fest goers are allowed to bring in sealed, unopened water bottles or any refillable, empty, clear plastic water bottle. Outside food and drink are usually not allowed. Right now, Madison area beaches are back open after one of the largest blue-green algae blooms of the year. As of this morning, all of these beaches are back open. Earlier this week, the county closed all but 3 of the city's 19 monitored beaches due to the potentially harmful bacteria and blue-green algae. The extreme heat is causing recurring problems on the roads. Friday's extreme temperatures caused a portion of Highway 51 to buckle. This was near the intersection of Larson Beach Road and McFarland. Traffic was down to 1 lane in the southbound direction for several hours. Police caution this could happen again as temperatures soar well into the 90s again today. A first alert traffic note for you this morning if you're headed downtown. The right turn lane from Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard onto West Wilson Street is closed until 7 o'clock Monday morning. That lane is closed so the concrete at the intersection can be replaced. Traffic on West Wilson Street won't be affected. Traffic can still go straight through the MLK intersection, and that closure is also affecting Metro buses. There will be temporary stops on South Hamilton at Main and on Doty at Henry while the closure is in effect. With the temperatures this weekend climbing into the 90s and a heat index hitting triple digits, Taking a dip in the lake sounds pretty nice. Dane County and the cities of Madison and Monona are offering free access for boaters today. You'll be able to use the boat launches on Fish Lake at Lucier County Park, Lake Kaganza at Fish Camp County Park, and Lake Wabesa at Babcock, Goodland, and Lake Farm County Parks. Boaters will also be able to use the Dane County Tenney Boat Lock on the Yahara River between Lake Mendota and Lake Monona for free. Keep in mind, though, slow, no-wake rules are still in effect for Lake Kaganza, Monona, and Wabesa. If you're planning on taking some cold beverages out on the boat with you this weekend, Dane County officials are reminding people to make sure it's non-alcoholic if you're driving the boat. The Sheriff's Office and DNR will have extra patrols out on the lakes this weekend during a national enforcement campaign called Operation Dry Water. The goal is to reduce the number of deadly accidents caused by drivers under the influence over the 4th of July holiday. Last year, more than 500 people were arrested for drinking while boating as part of that national campaign. New this morning, the U.S. Senate's 3 African-American lawmakers are banding together to introduce an anti-lynching bill. Surprisingly enough, lynching isn't a federal crime yet, but Senators Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, and Tim Scott want to change that. The legislation would make murder by a collection of people assembled with the intention of committing an act of violence punishable as a hate crime. So far, 18 Democratic senators and 2 independents have given their support. Scott, who helped introduce the bill, is the only Republican to back it so far. Congress has tried to pass anti-lynching legislation about 200 times since 1918, but have never succeeded. Right now, President Trump plans to interview candidates for the vacant Supreme Court seat this weekend in New Jersey. The president says he will speak with 1 or 2 candidates and plans to announce his selection on Monday, July 9th. We'll have more on who President Trump could choose to fill that seat coming up in the second half hour of this program. Developing this morning, police are hoping the public can help identify a bank robber. It happened Tuesday at the Bank of Sun Prairie. The surveillance photo was released just last night. Police say the man was in a knit winter hat and glasses with a cloth or mask covering his face and a green long-sleeve pullover shirt. This happened during the middle of the day around 2:10 in the afternoon. The man handed the teller a note demanding money and was able to run away. Anyone with information on who he may be should call police. Right now, police are investigating a pair of burglaries at UW Hospital that are believed to be connected. They're looking for this man. They say he may be involved in both. The first one happened Tuesday in the J5 unit. The second one happened Thursday in the G5 unit. UW-Madison police are actively investigating and ask anyone with information to contact them. This morning, the family of a young woman who took her own life inside a Dane County group home following a brutal sexual assault is suing employees of the home for wrongful death. It's a story News 3 has been investigating for 2 years now. The family of 17-year-old Brianna Kalk filed a federal lawsuit this month against Orion Family Services, who ran the now-closed Spone Avenue home for girls, claiming employees did not cut the girl down after they found her hanging in the closet and refused to perform CPR. Kalk, whose family now says they want her story told, was gang raped in a Wisconsin Department of Corrections halfway house where News 3 found lax monitoring. Nathan Thompson was the 4th man found guilty of sexual assault by a jury on Thursday. There are more changes ahead for the Westtown Mall. One of its main anchor stores will close this fall. The Sears store will close at the end of September. A Sears spokesperson says the decision was made as part of ongoing efforts to streamline the company's operations and focus on its best performing stores. The Staples on Verona Road in Madison is also closing. The last day for that store will be August 3rd. Company representatives cited the shift toward online shopping as one reason the store is closing. 5:09 right now. Still to come. If you've stepped outside, you've probably noticed we didn't cool off much at all overnight. You're looking live over the Capitol on this very warm and sticky Saturday morning. Chris is tracking more heat and a chance of some strong storms in his full first alert forecast coming up. And there are several shows and movies you should find time for this weekend. Will has your 3 things to watch. That's just ahead on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Mother Nature back at it again with the heat and the humidity alert days today, tonight, and Sunday for that heat and humidity, along with that chance for some isolated strong thunderstorms. Now, yesterday, we really saw those heat indices ramp on up into the triple digits. I mean, in Boscobel, it felt like 110, 111 is what it felt like in La Crosse. We're going to see pretty much the same story going into today. That means we keep the excessive heat warnings going all the way through this afternoon. Those will expire at 7 o'clock this evening, but it's still going to be pretty warm and steamy even beyond when those expire. Already feeling like 83 degrees here in Madison. It feels like 87 already in La Crosse. That being said, today's a good day to be aware of the symptoms of heat illness, whether that's heat exhaustion or whether that's heat stroke. You know, there are differences between the two. They're showing up on your screen. Make sure that you are aware of those differences, and if you are seeing the symptoms of those today, especially heat stroke, it may not be a bad idea to seek medical attention, just because things can change very quickly when it is very hot and humid outside and your body begins to succumb to all that heat. It's a steamy look outside. We did have some fog out there early this morning. That's all starting to lift. Temperatures are already pretty much in the upper 70s. We were at 80 not too long ago, so we actually dropped 1 degree. But as that sun comes up, we're going to watch those temperatures begin to take off pretty much all over again. Here's why. We've got a warm front that just lifted to the north, a strong southerly wind, folks. That's what's going to be taking over. So it's going to be breezy in addition to that heat and the humidity that we are feeling out there. So temperatures will start in the upper 70s. By this afternoon, we'll see temperatures in the low to mid 90s for those highs. Once again, you factor in the fact that dew points are in the 70s, and it'll feel well into the triple digits for those temperatures once again this afternoon. So it's going to be hot. Make sure that you are drinking plenty of water and limiting that outdoor activity as you can. Watch what happens as we get you into Sunday afternoon. Yes, it's hot, but you kind of see a gradient. It feels like 98 on the lake shore versus the upper 70s in the north. That is a cold front that is going to be driving on through here. That will additionally bring some chances for some showers and thunderstorms. So this afternoon, 94 degrees. We will be very hot and humid, feeling like 98 to 105. Alert days all the way through Sunday. Rain chances cooling us back off, but we are going to stay steamy with temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s for the next 10 days.
Definitely looking forward to a little relief from this heat, Chris.
Well, at this point, it will come once summer ends, but it won't be as humid as we go through the next week, so we'll be able to get rid of a lot of the heat advisories, but it'll still be steamy.
All right, Chris. Thank you.
My pleasure, Josh.
With this alert day forecast, it's ideal weather to stay in the air conditioning and watch something new, old, or just really good. Our Will Loper shares his picks in this week's 3 Things to Watch.
Hey there, Josh. This weekend, check out a new sci-fi thriller on demand, a new series on Netflix, and the anniversary of one of the greatest romantic comedies of all time.
I was told that they were all going to kill themselves. That's why we left the cult. They sent us a video.
New on demand this week is The Endless. 2 brothers escape a cult obsessed with UFOs and return to find some crazy stuff happening.
They're all in like their 40s. They just look young. It's weird. Why come back now? The video you sent. What video?
The Endless is available to rent or buy on all demand platforms now.
Who's next?
There's a place. Everything bad we've done doesn't matter.
And newly arrived on Netflix is the series Kiss Me First.
This is amazing. You can do anything.
A 17-year-old girl spends all her time in an online game and must find out what happened to her friend who goes missing in the game.
We're messed up. Lonely.
You can't tell what's actual and what's not.
Somebody's doing bad things. Somebody's killing my friends. I need to find him.
All 6 episodes of Kiss Me First are available to stream on Netflix now.
Tell him I'm coming for him.
Are you sleeping at night?
He doesn't sleep at all.
How do you know that?
I live here, Dad.
When it comes to rom-com pairings, you can't beat Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Hello.
Hello.
And this weekend is the 25th anniversary of their second film together, Sleepless in Seattle.
Why can't we go to New York?
There is no way that we are going on a plane to meet some woman who could be a crazy, sick lunatic. Didn't you see Fatal Attraction?
You wouldn't let me.
Tom Hanks plays a man who loses his wife and goes on a radio show where Meg Ryan hears him and falls in love with him.
Now, those were the days when people knew how to be in love.
You're a basket case.
They knew it. Time, distance, nothing could separate them because they knew it was right, it was real, it was
A movie. That's your problem. You don't want to be in love. You want to be in love in a movie.
The 25th anniversary of Sleepless in Seattle is available everywhere now.
Shall we?
I was once destined to meet the love of my life on the Empire State Building, but I'm afraid of heights, so I didn't go. Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
And 5:19 is your time right now. The heat and humidity has made much of the week unbearable, and unfortunately that weather is continuing this weekend. Staying safe in this heat can be a challenge, as it's not just about keeping our bodies cool, but what we feed ourselves. Coming up, some advice on what to eat in the heat. The news is back in the morning right here on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
It's Saturday morning today, an alert day for the heat and humidity. It'll feel like 98 to 105 degrees as we get you into this afternoon. Reduce that outdoor activity and make sure that you are staying hydrated. Over the next 12 hours, we're going to watch those heat indices rise rather quickly between now and lunchtime. It'll go from feeling like the 80s to feeling like the triple digits, and we'll likely see the triple digit heat indices last all the way through the afternoon. Actual air temperatures will rise to about the mid 90s for those highs today, and there's not going to be a whole lot of cloud cover to provide shade at times. So find that shade when you do have that opportunity to. Even though we're going to be cooling down into the start of the week, we will be staying steamy through the next 10 days. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. 5:23 this morning. Right now, with heat indices into the 100s, many people are looking for ways to cool down while still spending time outside this weekend. Nutritionists say what you eat and drink can help your body cope with high temperatures. Lighter foods are a good thing because they're easier to digest. For example, nutritionists suggest choosing fish over beef. They also suggest eating a balanced diet, but without foods high in sugar. And it's pretty obvious, but as far as drinks go, water is your best option.
I prefer people drink purified water because it has less toxins and junk and things in there. And then the other thing is looking at electrolytes is really important. I don't really like Gatorade because it's really high in sugar and salt.
Doctors say people training for things like running a marathon or biking should limit their time outside. They recommend doing shorter spurts of exercise with these high temperatures because being out too long can cause dehydration or lead to heat or sunstroke. First responders deal with cases of unattended kids in cars every summer, which they say is extremely dangerous. According to kidsincars.org, children have died from heat stroke in cars and temperatures as low as 60 degrees. Even cracking the windows doesn't help slow down that heating process or lower the overall temperature. First responders say a child's body heats up faster than the body of a full-size adult.
Physiologically, we have better coping mechanisms to deal with heat than like a pet or a child. The biggest thing too is, a small child or a pet can't communicate when they're in distress.
Kidsincars.org suggests to lock before you lock. They suggest you check the back seat, leave your phone or purse next to the child, or put a stuffed animal in the front seat as a reminder. 5:25 right now, still ahead on News 3 this morning, Saturday. A check of today's top stories, including the traffic alert you should know about before heading to the farmers market or Fourth Fest this weekend. Plus, the stage is set for a Supreme showdown. How soon Republicans in Congress hope to vote on the president's Supreme Court nominee and why Democrats are saying no. You're watching News 3 this morning, Saturday.
sorry?
We're going to be out even faster than normal because we're on the air.
Right now, President Trump is getting another chance to reshape the Supreme Court for generations to come. How soon outgoing Justice Anthony Kennedy's spot could be filled, and what, or rather who, is standing in the way. Good morning and welcome to News 3 this morning, Saturday, 5:30 now on this June 30th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris is tracking that extreme heat in a moment, but first let's get you caught up on today's headlines. If you have outdoor plans this weekend, be sure to keep in mind surfaces will be hot. News 3 tested surfaces at a local park during the peak of Friday's heat, and they came out to nearly 120 degrees. UW health doctors tell us there isn't an exact temperature that will lead to burns, but they have seen kids burned on metal slides and blacktop. The heat is also wreaking havoc on the roads. Friday's extreme temperatures caused a portion of Highway 51 to buckle. This was near the intersection of Larson Beach Road and McFarland. Traffic was down to one lane in the southbound direction for several hours. Police caution this could happen again as temperatures soar well into the 90s again today. If you're heading downtown this morning, the right turn lane from Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard onto West Wilson Street is closed until 7 o'clock Monday morning. That lane is being closed so the concrete at the intersection can be replaced. Traffic on West Wilson Street won't be affected, and traffic can still go straight through the MLK intersection. That closure is also affecting Metro buses. There will be temporary stops on South Hamilton at Main and on Doty at Henry while the closure is in effect. And if you're planning on heading out on the water and taking some cold beverages with you, Dane County officials are reminding people to make sure it's non-alcoholic if you're driving the boat. The Sheriff's Office and DNR will have extra patrols out on the lake this weekend during a national enforcement campaign called Operation Dry Water. The goal is to reduce the number of deadly accidents caused by driving under the influence over the 4th of July weekend. And that water is probably where you're going to want to brave that heat this weekend, Chris.
That's right. You won't have to go far to find it. You step outside, you're stepping pretty much into the water. It's already a hazy, foggy kind of look out there. So much moisture into the atmosphere that once it cools down, a lot of that condenses and forms the fog that we see out there. But as temperatures heat up, a lot of that will begin to evaporate. 79 degrees in Madison right now. Pretty much all of us are in the upper 70s across southern Wisconsin this morning. La Crosse, the warm spot at 81. It feels like 87 in La Crosse. It feels like 83 for us here in town. But as we go through the rest of the afternoon, it'll likely feel like anywhere between 98 and 105 by the time we get you towards about 3 or 4 o'clock. So for that reason, we do still have the excessive heat warnings in effect. Those will last until about 7 o'clock this evening before eventually we'll have a cold front that comes through and finally cools things off in terms of temperature. Traffic-wise, so far this morning, things continue to run smoothly. We do have a little bit of a slowdown on the Beltline. That's over near Old Sauk Road. No major issues showing up on camera with that. Downtown, headed towards the Farmers Market. That's going to be getting ready to get rocking and rolling this morning. So far, no issues there either. So this morning, traffic-wise, is good, but do know it will be hot.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure, Josh.
Happening now, our Hunger Heroes campaign with the Goodman Community Center continues. We're just about $10,000 short of our $30,000 goal. Right now, we're collecting food to help the Goodman Center support families over the summer when kids can't rely on school to supplement meals. For anyone thinking about donating to Hunger Heroes, now is the perfect time. Elizabeth and Robert Erickson have pledged to match your gifts this morning up to $1,000. We'll have a live report from Goodman ahead in our 8 o'clock hour. Developing right now, President Trump plans to interview candidates for the vacant Supreme Court seat this weekend in New Jersey. The interviews come shortly after longtime Justice Anthony Kennedy, a Reagan appointee, announced his retirement 1 month shy of his 82nd birthday. Caitlin Collins has the latest.
President Trump on deadline for one of the most consequential decisions of his presidency, hoping to nominate a new Supreme Court justice in less than 2 weeks. Sources tell CNN the administration will name their pick to replace Justice Anthony Kennedy by July 9th, even though Kennedy doesn't officially retire until the end of the month. The New York Times reporting that the White House conducted a quiet campaign to create an opening on the court, not pressuring 81-year-old Kennedy directly, but assuring him his seat was in good hands.
Throughout his nearly 30 years on the Supreme Court, Justice Kennedy has been praised by all for his dedicated and dignified service.
Trump promising to choose from a list of conservative judges the White House published last fall.
It will be somebody from that list. So we have now boiled it down to about 25 people.
Fulfilling a campaign promise that could transform the court for decades.
If we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court.
A razor-thin majority in the Senate has sent the White House into overdrive to mobilize support. Trump dining with key senators Thursday night who could determine the court's future, including 3 Democrats who voted to confirm his last nominee, Justice Neil Gorsuch. The decision promising to shift the balance of power on the court and throw landmark decisions on abortion, same-sex marriage, and affirmative action into jeopardy. Kennedy's vacancy setting the stage for an epic fight in Washington.
Our Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set in 2016. Not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year.
This is not 2016. There aren't the final months of a second-term constitutionally lame duck presidency with a presidential election fast approaching.
Kennedy's retirement is effective July 31st. President Trump wants to unveil his pick by July 9th before he departs for Europe. 5:34 right now. A new app is helping parents better understand their baby based on how they cry, what families think about the new technology, and where to get the most bang for your buck this Independence Day. A look at the best cities to ring in the 4th of July when News 3 This Morning Saturday continues.
The heat and humidity remains in play for your Saturday. That is the reason today is an additional alert day in your forecast. It'll likely feel like 98 to 105 degrees by the time we get you into the peak heating of the afternoon, if not a little bit warmer. In fact, that's going to happen rather quickly. By 9 o'clock, feeling like the low 90s. By 11 o'clock, 99. Noontime is when it'll likely begin to feel like the triple digits outside. That will last all the way through early dinner time today. So make sure that you are drinking plenty of water as you can. Actual air temperature should top out in the low to mid 90s. We're forecasting 94 for your high today. And then a cold front arrives. That brings a chance for strong thunderstorms. In fact, there is a slight risk north and west of Madison for severe weather for thunderstorms later on tonight. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. Coming up on 5:39 right now on the Consumer Watch this morning, it's not even July, and Kohl's is already looking ahead to the school year. The company now has plans to start hiring seasonal workers for back to school, fall, and the holiday shopping season right now. Kohl's is getting a head start on other retailers with its earliest hiring push ever amid a tight job market. The company has opened up applications for a variety of jobs, including in-store, distribution, and e-commerce positions. Right now, Chipotle says it will close 65 locations and shake up its menu. The burrito chain plans to add more snack foods and introduce a happy hour promotion between 2 and 5 p.m. Chipotle is also planning to expand its hours. The chain has been testing quesadillas and avocado tostadas, but hasn't decided if they will remain on the menu permanently. A new app is hitting the market that could help parents interpret why their baby is upset based on how they cry. The free app Chatter Baby was released last month. Jamie Yukas spoke with a family that tried it.
Like many new parents, Fatima Bell is often trying to figure out why her 5-month-old son, Jonathan Jr., is crying.
It's scary. You're responsible for someone's life.
She says the Chatter Baby app helps her and her husband, Jonathan, identify what's bothering their son more quickly. They record his cries for 5 seconds, and the app tells them the likelihood that he's fussy, hungry, or in pain.
For me, it just goes down a mental checklist of, what do I need to do?
The app was developed by UCLA statistician Ariana Anderson, a mother of 4. She originally designed the technology to help deaf parents like the Wetters better understand why their baby was upset, but soon realized it could be a helpful tool for all new parents. To build a database, Anderson and her team uploaded 2,000 audio samples of infant cries.
Don't you get really sad watching this stuff or listening to it?
Yeah. And to create a baseline for the other 2 categories, a panel of moms had to unanimously agree on whether the cry was either hungry or fussy.
We're taking a 5-second audio sample. We look at over 6,000 different acoustic features, and we try to see which features are associated with each state using artificial intelligence.
I think that all of the apps and technology that new parents are using now can be helpful, but need to be taken with a grain of salt.
Pediatrician Eric Ball points out evaluating cries can never be an exact science.
I do worry that some parents will get bogged down in big data and turn their parenting into basically a spreadsheet, which I think will take away from the love and caring and support that parents are supposed to be providing for their children.
And we're trying to make it in a way that parents have to interpret the results, not that we give them a yes or no answer.
Do you worry that you might get too dependent on the phone to tell you what's going on with him?
And we're only getting better by way of technology, but I wouldn't rely on it 100%, but I would utilize it.
Jamie Yukas, CBS News, Los Angeles.
From one noise to another, fireworks will soon light up the sky for the 4th of July holiday. In preparation, Wallet Hub released its list of best cities to celebrate Independence Day. New York City topped the list, followed by Los Angeles and Chicago. The personal finance site ranked cities based on factors like beer and wine prices, length of fireworks, and the weather forecast. 5:42 this morning. Are you looking for something to do this weekend? Well, we've got you covered. We're ringing in the 4th early with a music festival, carnival, and of course, some great food along the waterfront. And there's a world-renowned Lego artist in town showcasing his work. Your Weekend 608 is next on News 3 This Morning, Saturday. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV.
Alert days remain in the forecast for today, tonight, along with your Sunday. That includes the heat and humidity, along with the possibility of some strong thunderstorms. Today is going to be yet another scorching day out there. We do have those excessive heat warnings, and those will last until 7 o'clock today before we finally begin to cool things down just a little bit. It won't be as miserable as it's been, but it's still going to be steamy as we go through the next several days. Already this morning, it feels like 83 degrees here in Madison. You work your way up towards La Crosse, it feels like 87 degrees already this morning. Today, another day to just be aware of those heat-related illness symptoms there, whether that's heat exhaustion or heat stroke. There are differences between the two and different symptoms that you will be able to notice. So take those things into account as you are out and about throughout the day. It's a hazy morning that we are tracking out there. A little bit of fog this morning, but that's continuing to burn off as we track the sunrise coming back into the picture. 79 degrees right now. Dew points also in the mid 70s, and that's part of why when you step outside, it's just going to feel rather soupy pretty much immediately to the skin. We had a warm front come through yesterday, southerly wind coming in behind that. That is going to continue to keep the breeziness around, in addition to that heat and humidity that you will be experiencing as you step outside today. Temperatures already in the 70s. By this afternoon, we'll see your highs in the low to mid 90s. You factor in the fact that dew points are in the 70s, and those feels like temperatures will be much warmer. In fact, by the time we get you into the afternoon, just about all of us are going to experience that triple-digit heat. But towards tomorrow, here's what you'll notice. Yes, it's hot, but you have a gradient. It's a little bit cooler as you work your way towards the north and west. That's because a cold front works its way into town. That does bring the chance for showers and thunderstorms into the picture. Some of those have the potential to be severe. That's the reason that there's a slight risk, mainly north and west of Madison, of some strong to severe thunderstorms. So that's one of those things that you're going to want to keep in mind. For today, you'll see your highs right around 94 degrees, very hot and humid. It will feel like 98 to 105 into the afternoon. We keep the 80s around into your Sunday, eventually cooling things off, but it's going to take us a while. 90 degrees by Wednesday. Your 4th of July is going to be yet another scorching day with the slight chance of some thunderstorms as well. But we keep those 80s and 90s around for quite a while, Josh.
All right, no relief there.
No relief, but that's okay.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
We've been asking you to share your morning with us. Jimbo Klemke posted this on Facebook page. It's from the Memorial Union Terrace. This is actually a sunset, so kind of looking back at that beautiful sunset there. Thanks for sharing that, Jimbo. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We'll share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning. It is the weekend in the 608.
That's right. Here's a look at what's going on around the area.
If you're looking for a theater option and a twisted option at that, A Contest of Wills is in the middle of its run at Broome Street Theater, playing this weekend and next. This one is a dark comedy all about a wealthy, dysfunctional family and their story of greed, lust, and murder. The show runs today and next Thursday through Saturday.
And it's not the weekend before the 4th without celebrating the holiday. Today from 2 until 9 is the 4th annual 4th Fest at the Edgewater Hotel. There will be live music, carnival games, and summer food to enjoy at the Lake Mendota waterfront. The Mad City Ski Team will also put on a show, and the People Brothers, rather, they released their 3rd album earlier this year. They will headline the event.
Very cool. And calling all engineers, future or even wannabe engineers, Lego lovers, young and old, will enjoy the Brick Universe Convention happening today and tomorrow at the Monona Terrace. Spaceships, castles, entire cities, and other massive displays of Legos will be on display. Award-winning members of the Wisconsin Lego Users Group will be on hand with their creations. But don't worry, of course, there will be building areas for visitors as well as Lego pieces, sets, and merchandise for you to buy. The convention runs from 10 to 1 today and tomorrow.
The Knuckle Down Saloon is putting the blues in the red, white, and blue with an entire day of blues music this Sunday. It's part of their annual Red, White, and Blues Festival. 5 Wisconsin-based blues bands, the Cashbox Kings, the Jimmies, Reverend Raven, and the Chainsmokin' Altar Boys, Madtown Blues Collective, all of them together will play an extended set until 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Knuckle Down is right off Stoughton Road at the corner of Flom.
All right, and get this month's Madison magazine for all of the best in the Madison area. Coming up on 5:51 this morning, there's still more on News 3 ahead, coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. And tonight at 6, a world-renowned Lego artist is coming to town. We'll take a look at some of his incredible work. But first, taking yoga to a whole new level. We'll take you to the studio, jumping on the goat yoga bandwagon. And yes, this is actually a bandwagon. People are catching on. Stay with us. And welcome back at 5:54. If you're a yogi, you probably know the downward dog, but dogs aren't the only animals getting involved in a new kind of yoga.
That's right. A farm in Brentwood, California is jumping on the goat yoga bandwagon. Leslie Brinkley has the story.
Feel the sit bones connected to the earth.
It's a yoga class on a wooden platform in the fields of Brentwood's first-generation farms. And then they release the goats, 6 of them, to elevate this to a whole new level.
Curl your toes, push your hips up and back, downward dog.
8-week-old Cinnamon is on patrol here, surveying the yoga class, deciding who to snuggle with and who to just hang out with.
They make you smile, they just make you at peace. They just make you feel good, yeah.
Just a positive environment, just non-judgmental, just everybody's here just to experience it.
Snoopy the goat added to class by sniffing out socks and curiously checking out water bottles.
Everyone wants their picture, and they just want to touch the goats and be acknowledged by the goats, and everyone's just really happy.
Acknowledgement is one thing, but Snoopy inspires the class when he jumps on people's stomachs and backs, and by his position can make you wonder if he's going to unload on someone. It's goat yoga after all.
They are animals, so if you get some poo or pee on you, it's a bonus blessing, so.
Inhale tall. Exhale, let your body sink in just a little bit more.
A blessing for Karina Thor, who turned out to be the goat whisperer in this class.
We went last Friday, and I had a blast, and so now I'm a...
You're a goat yogi.
I'm a goat yogi now.
It's
and I practice yoga and goats, so what more could I ask for?
Yoga classes with these Nigerian dwarf goats are selling out, and the farm is thinking of adding more to the schedule.
We thought we would bring the joy of nature and the joy of yoga and kind of make them a lovely little harmony. And I think we've accomplished our goal.
You know, I'm a yogi, but I have not jumped on the goat yoga bandwagon yet.
Well, you know what? I could probably use that to help alleviate my stress from all this heat that we have going on. Alert days, once again, are in the forecast. We're going to track things all the way into the triple digits in that heat index department going through the rest of this afternoon. I know. I feel the exact same way. That's exactly how I feel. Eventually, we will cool things down. Now, going through the rest of today, we'll see our actual air temperature highs in the low to even mid-90s for a lot of folks out there. Then relief works its way in from the north and west. It's going to spark off some showers and thunderstorms, especially overnight into tomorrow. A slight risk that some of these could be strong to severe, but they don't look to be a major issue at this time. But we'll keep a close eye on that storm chance.
All right, and I think we're probably going to want to find some water. There's Barrett swimming around. Do we see him?
Yep, there he
goes. All right, we'll see you back here at 8 o'clock. CBS This Morning Saturday is next.
Making plants that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.